So, as we know, the San Francisco 49ers are on the hunt for their new defensive coordinator, and they have already interviewed two: Robert Saleh and the Lions defensive backs coach, Townsend, as well. So, they are clearly trying to find their next guy, and it's really cool that Saleh is actually in consideration. But not only is he in consideration, he's actually expected to be the favorite. So let me show you this report from Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. This is actually via 49ers web zone. So I wanted to share this with you guys. As you can see from the text right here, they say a few people I've talked to expect former Jets head coach and former 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh to be the favorite to land back in San Francisco to fill their open defensive coordinator position. Graziano goes on to say Saleh is also on the Jaguars list of head coach interviewees, so one would assume he'd let the situation play out before taking a coordinator job. Not only is Saleh interviewing for the Jags job, he's also interviewing for the Raiders jobs. And so there's two options there. But really, when I look at both of those options, they seem like destinations where they probably want an offensive minded head coach. One of them has a quarterback, franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, and, just feels like you need to get a competent, solidified long-term plan for Trevor Lawrence. And if you hire a defensive coach, there's always the potential that you're going to have to rotate through offensive coordinators, because let's say you get an offensive coordinator with the scheme that you want that fits what you're looking for, and he does well, there's a good chance he's going to be poached, and then you're on the hunt again, trying to find a new OC, trying to either replicate the same offense or find a new scheme. And so it just feels like, and with the Raiders too, who also need a quarterback, and you have Tom Brady helping aid that search, kind of feels like both of those teams would be better suited with offensive minded head coaches. But nonetheless, he still has an opportunity to return. So we shall see. Now, Ulbrich has also been an option as well, who is the DC for Robert Saleh with the Jets. Fowler says, my understanding is San Francisco not only explored hiring Ulbrich last year, but also put on the full court press to recruit him. Ulbrich was under contract, and the Jets shut that down. How interesting would that be, like of a full circle moment, that the 49ers tried their hardest to get Ulbrich to be the DC for them last year. Robert Saleh shuts it down just to become the 49ers DC this year. So you also have to assume that if they are interested in Salah, they're also interested in Ulbrich, and they've already done, the preliminary research too for him. So I would have to assume he is also an option as well. You can also see they will be considering an internal candidate, and that candidate is Brandon Staley. You already know 49ers fans would absolutely go crazy if Brandon Staley got promoted to the DC, but you never know. You never say never in this league. And they go on to say there are other available quality external candidates with 4-3 scheme expertise, from Dennis Allen to Matt Eberflus to recently fired Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. This will be the top defensive coordinator job, at least based on current personnel. So, as you see there, the sentiment is that the 49ers have one of the more desirable defensive coordinator spots. You have the best linebacker in the league, and that was made apparent by, Fred Warner's first team All-Pro nod You also, of course, have the reigning defensive player of the year in Nick Bosa. You have a franchise cornerback, basically, in Diamondo Lenore, who's gotten locked up. They drafted Renardo Green, who's going to be a starter next year. Malik Mustafa is an absolute hit and going to be a starter as well. And you got Leonard Floyd, and you've got Yetur Gross-Matos, and you have Malik Collins. They have a good shell to the defense. They just need a couple more pieces. They need more defensive line reinforcements, a couple more linebackers, safeties, and cornerbacks. So, but they have key pieces at every level. So it is a desirable job. And you would also be coaching for one of the best offensive minds in football, who you would think should be able to get things back on track with a bit of a retool, adding some additional talent, maybe kind of retooling the offensive line as well. So when I look at it, I do think that the 49ers DC spot is a desirable one. And as we know, if you perform well with the 49ers, especially in that DC role, you can get a head coaching job relatively easy. So you look at the success that Salah had with the 49ers back in 2019. He leveraged that into the New York Jets job. You saw D'Amico Ryan's success with the 49ers. He leveraged that into the Texans head coaching job. So you would have to assume, like, if Robert Saleh, and again, that's why I think they're saying that Robert Saleh is the favorite to land with the 49ers, because basically I'm assuming Saleh's saying, like, I'll be back for sure. As long as I don't get an opportunity to be a head coach, I'll be back. I'll come be the DC. So I think that's why he is the favorite to land back, is they have that relationship. They had that interview. I honestly was kind of like timid about that. I'm like, I don't know if Salah would want to come back. I'm not sure how he would perceive that to be, but it sounds like he is open to it, and it actually sounds like that could be the chance. We just need the Raiders and the Jags to hire someone else. That's it. I think that's really all we're waiting for, based on what we're hearing, is if they can hire another head coach, that the 49ers will be smooth sailing into a reunion with Robert Saleh. We know that this is, like, from a fan perception perspective, this is number one. This is the best case scenario. You mean Robert Saleh returns, the guy who, installed this scheme, who was responsible for the success that the 49ers had on their way to a 13-3 season as they went to the Super Bowl, and you get that energy back. Remember, some of the best things with Salah was just watching his energy on the sideline. Remember, the cameras would always cut to him, and he's like going crazy and getting hyped and just really bringing that energy. And I think, that's something that the 49ers missed. Steve Wilkes was in the booth. They had to drag him out of the booth. Nick Sorensen doesn't look like he gets excited over anything. Now you get some energy back. You get some energy with Robert Saleh. So let's see what happens. Let's see if that's going to be the case. I don't know. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.